Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 most powerful mages to play in Smite Arena. Now again, these are my personal favorites that I think are the most powerful gods that you can play in Smite Arena based on damage, ease of play, what they bring to a team, not individuals, but actually a team type effort, right? Again, these are my 5 most powerful gods that you can play in Smite Arena. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on those notifications. We attempt to put out videos every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but sometimes we throw out videos throughout the week or stream throughout the week, so make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified if we do. And you're tired of playing with all these random people, man, come join us on our Discord. We have awesome people from all around the world playing daily on our Discord, a variety of different games. I also put an invite to that in the description of any of our videos and our website, GarzaGaming.com. And don't forget, we are now live on Twitch and Facebook Gaming under Garza Gaming Channel. So even if you're subscribed to us on YouTube, please go to Twitch and Facebook and give us those follows. We really appreciate it. Okay, so here we go with my top 5 most powerful mages that you can play in Smite Arena. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first on our list is, by no surprise, Silla. Now, Silla is one of the most underrated gods in Arena, I think. You don't see too many Sillas in Arena, but I'm telling you right now, she's one of the most powerful gods that you can play in Smite Arena for the simple fact that her kit becomes super powerful in-game. Almost all of her attacks just become AoEs, causing mass damage. I have more pentakills with Silla than any other god in Smite, and I've seen more people get pentakills with Silla than any other god in Smite. Now, Silla's passive, she actually gains 25 magical power for each max rank. So once she starts maxing out her abilities, she gains 25 more magical power. Now keep in mind that you got 4 abilities, so that's 100 more magic power that Silla is going to end up getting at max level late game, right? Additionally, her Sikkim, right? So her Sikkim, once it gets maxed out, this is in her root. So her number 1 does a damage root. Additionally, once it maxes out, it becomes an AoE route, which is ridiculous. So what ends up happening is you hit one target with this number 1. It also routes 2 additional targets that are close to your original target, which is ridiculously OP for Arena. Her number 2. That was her number 1, I'm sorry. Her number 2 at max level becomes a freaking debuff, a magic debuff, 15% magic protection reduction, which is huge, right? And that's not just to her. She tags individuals with this debuff. So if you're doing a combined attack, say a Silla and a Kukan attack, with Whirlwind, or a Silla Zeus attack, that can be huge, allowing Silla to go in, debuff a group of enemies, and then having an AoE god come behind her to clean up. It's ridiculously OP in Arena. And then, of course, what makes her super powerful and one of the most powerful gods in Arena, in my opinion, is the fact that she is one of the few mages that has a very good escape. Her number 3 is an actual sentinel she sends out there that she can teleport to. So you actually have control of when and where you can teleport to, which is gigantic in Arena, right? Not too many mages, especially the powerful ones like a Zeus, has this type of escape. And then, of course, her ult, man. This is one of the best ults in Arena, bar none. For the simple fact is, when maxed out, it gives her 70% movement speed. That's right, 70% movement speed. Makes you immune to any CC. And additionally, when you come down with an attack, right, you got 6 seconds to do an attack. When you do your ult attack and kill somebody, you actually get that 6 seconds recharged again. So you still get that movement. You get that 70% movement speed for an additional 6 seconds. You're immune to CC for an additional 6 seconds, and you can kill another god. And you can keep on doing this until you no longer kill a god with this ult. That's why I think this is one of the most powerful gods in Arena. So the second god on our list for the one of the best or most powerful gods in Arena is going to be Baron Samedi, right? I think that this is one of the top tier gods in Arena for the simple fact he is the Swiss Army knife of gods, man. This god gives you DPS, it gives you crowd control, it gives you support with heals and cleanses, increased movement speed. I mean, this god has it all in one small package, right? So what happens is the passive of this god, he has Hysteria with each various different hits that stack up and cause additional effects with his various different attacks, right? Now his number one is a simple damage type of laser attack, right? But the thing about this one is if you have over 30 Hysteria, it's a debuff and a strong debuff at that. It actually reduces enemy gods' attack power by 30% and reduces their attack speed by 30%, which coming out of a Baron combo sets your team up for some really nice strategic play, especially followed up by an assassin or any type of high damage DPS, an AoE type mage. I mean, that combination right there is really powerful. But where he really shines, in my opinion, is his number 2 attack, man. The number 2 attack is ridiculously OP and so awesome to have on your team, right? Because not only does it do damage and a small AoE, if you actually damage an enemy god with this attack, he has little spirits that fly off the enemy god and actually heals your allies for X amount of health. Additionally, if you have over 30 Hysteria on the enemy when you hit him with this, it actually cleanses those same allies and gives them a movement buff of 25% ground speed. A 25% movement buff after a cleanse is huge in Smite Arena. Heck, just the CC cleanse alone is huge in Smite Arena. But a lot of people that play Barons don't understand that. It's easy to see the actual heal, but they don't understand the power that additional power that attack has with the CC cleanse, right? And then another thing that makes him really powerful, in my opinion, is the simple fact that he has that crowd control added to his kit with his number 3. Now, his number 3, when he hits somebody, it's almost like an Anubis wrap, but unlike Anubis, where Anubis locks somebody down instantly, this attack actually starts doing damage and then slowly starts snaring a god, and then finally at the end of the snare brings him to a halt, and pretty much holds him in place for 0.75 of a second, which doesn't sound like much, but hey man, any slow and especially root in Arena is huge. And that's why with Baron Samedi, it's very easy to pull off his 3-2-1 combo, which is super powerful. By getting in that, hitting him with that 3, putting that 2 under him, and finishing off with those lasers, you're going to have maximum Hysteria on him by the time that you finish that off, which is going to do mass damage, right? Additionally, you follow up with that ult, it's just lights out, man. Lights out for sure. Now, Baron Samedi also has a very interesting ult. Now, the only downfall to Baron Samedi's kit, unfortunately, is his ult. Because when he goes into his ult, while he is very powerful, it's a very powerful attack, and it actually helps to draw in the enemy, allowing your support teams to go in and take care of them, right? You're a sitting duck. He actually jumps up on his coffin, and he's actually sucking the enemy towards him, but while he's doing that, he's almost like a Hades. He's pretty much stuck in there, barely moving at all, and it's just a sitting duck, especially for any type of guy that's attacking him from behind. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, the plus to this is, and a lot of newbies to Baron don't know this, but you can actually cancel that attack early by right-clicking if you're a PC player, right, on your mouse. But yeah, man, that's why, summed up, that's why I think Baron Samedi is one of the most powerful gods in Arena, because of the simple fact of his support capability, his DPS capability, and his crowd control ability, all in one small package. Okay, so next on the list is one of my favorite gods in Smite, and obviously one of my mains, and that is Knox. Knox is by bar none one of the most powerful gods in Arena, man. Just for the simple fact that her kit is just like her name, obnoxious. Let me tell you. So her powerful, right out of the get-go, for every candle that she has lit, she gives 3% more magic power, right? So right out of the get-go, you're going to be doing 12% more magic power damage, which is freaking insane, right? So moving on to her number one. Her number one is one of the most powerful attacks of any god in Arena, bar none. For the simple fact, it can lock you down for 2 seconds. That's right. If you get hit with her number one, you can't move for 2 seconds unless she gets killed or she cancels that attack or you beat out of it, right? Now, additionally to that, not only is it a lockdown, but it also does damage while it has you locked down, which is freaking amazing. Second, her number two. Her number two is just nasty with a silence. So combining her number, putting down her number two, and then locking somebody down with their number one is the bread and butter of Knox. If you can get that 2-1 combo down with Knox, she is the most lethal god in Arena for sure. Because that number two does an AoE silence, and then after a small period, it erupts, right, and does really, really high damage. Additionally, by having that lockdown on top of her, you're actually holding her in place, because what ends up happening is that AoE takes 2 seconds to explode. So what you do is you throw down that AoE, lock them down. That lockdown is 2 seconds. And the funny thing about that lockdown is there's no movement penalty, because when you use her number one, you do get tethered to that enemy because it's a channeling type spell, but you can move left or right. You know, a lot of newbies to Knox just stand still when they cast their one, and you don't have to. As long as you don't get too far and break that tether, you're good, right? So yeah, that's why that 2-1 combo is so freaking powerful. You silence a god so they can't cast or anything, and you lock them down, get at max range, and they're just sitting there waiting to die, right? Or waiting for the big damage to come in. Additionally, Knox is one of the few mages in Smite that actually has a very powerful escape. And this is a very unique escape for the simple fact it's a dash that, one, does damage to gods, and two, you can pass through minions. So if you're minion blocked, and you can't move, by casting that 3, you'll be able to not only clear those minions, but go jet through them without being held in place, right? Without being body blocked. Now, the biggest or the most unique thing about this escape also is if you cast your 3 while facing one of your enemies, you can actually go inside, your allies, you actually go inside your ally, right? And it gives you an extra layer of protection. The cool thing about this is if you do this, if you're really hurt as Knox and you jump into a jump type god, that jump type god can leap you out of the damage, leap you out of the battle and get you to the fountain just that much quicker. Additionally, you can actually use this as an offensive sneak attack, and I've done this a lot, right? So what you can end up doing is jumping into a Thor, a Thanatos, pretty much an Apollo, any god that has a special type ult where they can hover everywhere around the arena, right? And as soon as you come down, you can do what I call an atomic bomb, right? So they come in, do damage, you actually exit out, right, by right clicking, doing more damage, and then doing your 2-1 combo, and it's lights out, baby. Lights out. So that, Knox is so versatile. Now, with that said, Knox by far is one of the most difficult gods to use in Arena. For the simple fact that if her 1 sounds like it's easy to land, but it really isn't. It takes a lot of practice to land her 1. And unfortunately with Knox, if you cannot land her 1 at least 90% of the time, you're going to be having a hard time in Arena playing Knox. Knox takes a lot of practice. It took me a very long time to really master her. When I first started playing Knox, man, I was dying like ridiculously amount, 15, 20 times. It was ridiculous how much I died in these games but I'm telling you, once you master her, she is one of the most powerful gods in Arena and can set up your team for so many awesome plays. Especially you have a wingman that has high DPS and follows you and actually plays off your CC. That is just ridiculous kills. But additionally, her ult. Her ult is like an orb dodgeball, right? This orb just cracks me up. this is one of the most satisfying alts in Smite Arena for the simple fact is I love sniping people with this. It's so easy to line up. The response time is so quick, right? And the capabilities of this attack is just mind-boggling. Not only does it do initial damage when you hit a god, but it also has a tick damage. You actually put damage over time or a dot on the enemy. In addition to, you reduce their damage. You debuff them by 40%. So yeah, not only can you use this alt as an offensive weapon to finish off a god, but if your team is in a big team fight, especially with a bunch of heavy hitters, you throw this alt in there. It's an AoE, a small AoE explosion, and it debuffs any enemy in that small area, causing them to do 40%, 40% less damage for 5 seconds, which is huge in Arena. Huge, man. But yeah, that's why Knox is one of my favorite guys. Again, she takes a while to master, but trust me, she's well worth it. Knox is by far one of my favorite gods in Smite to play, and that's why I think she's one of the most powerful gods you can play in Smite Arena. So the fourth god on this list is one of the most newbie-friendly gods in Smite, in my opinion. I know I get a lot of questions on what god would you recommend for a newbie to a Smite Arena, and I always say bar none, Kukan, right? Because Kukan is a very unique god. For starters, his passive gives you 4% more magic item power the more mana that you get, which is huge, right? But more importantly, Kukan's 1 applies a slow, and his 1 is actually a small AoE. So it does damage in a small area. Additionally, puts a slow which late game is 40%. So at max level, a 40% slow is huge in Arena, right? Now, Kukan is also unique in the fact that he has a self-movement buff. Late game at max level, this movement buff gives you 80%, 80% movement speed for 4 seconds, which allows Kukan to get out of some really sticky situations, especially if he or she is getting, chased down by another god. But what makes Kukan so powerful and why I believe he makes this attack makes him one of the most powerful gods in Arena is his Whirlwind, right? His Whirlwind is a newbie-friendly, set it and forget it type attack, man. This tornado that you put down lasts 4 seconds. So for 4 seconds, this tornado just keeps churning in a certain area, causing, any god that touches it a dot on them or a damage over time effect on them, doing damage. Late game 40 of initial 40 per hit plus 15% of your magic power, right? Which is huge, man. Kukan is actually one of the gods that you can use to counter chain CC teams. As we all know in Arena, there's been a meta for a long time where pre-made teams come in with multiple gods that can do CC effects. So what they do is they train doing chain CC. They'll have one guy come in and stun or slow or some type of CC on a god, and then a second one will pile on top of him, and a third one will pile on top of him, while the first one goes from his stun into an attack, right? Or when others are doing attack, it's just a snowball effect that is very painful in Arena, man. You're pretty much a sitting duck. As soon as you get stunned once, that's it. It's lights out, because all you're gonna do is get stun, kill, right? But the cool thing about Kukan with his Whirlwinds is you can shoot out those Whirlwinds in a small area, and it makes it very difficult for these type of players to line up and coordinate these attacks. Additionally, his Whirlwinds work awesome with your ally players as damage shields. So if you see one of your players, in a fight, one-on-one fight, or is getting jumped by multiple players, you drop this Whirlwind around them, and it serves as a damage type shield, where as long as they stay in your Whirlwind, any god, melee type god that comes in contact with them is going to end up getting hit with that Whirlwind and assisting your allies to kill the enemy just just that much quicker. Additionally, it works as a deterrent too. If you see one of your, allies trying to run for their life and they're being chased down with multiple enemies, you throw that whirlwind down, allowing them to run through it, and any of the enemy that runs through it is going to take damage and sometimes even die because maybe they might be low on health, right? It's definitely a deterrence and it stops many enemy guys in their tracks. Especially if you have a Kukan that's built high attack power and a high penetration late game, right? And then his ult. His ult is very unique. His ult is kind of hard to hit, but if you do connect with this ult, not only does it do really high damage, but it has a knock-up effect, right? This ult works beautifully when combined with CC type gods like a Knox, a Baron, or maybe even an ult like an Ares ult where he jumps up with his chains and brings everybody towards them, or a Daji type ult, right? But yeah, man, the reason I think that this god is one of the most powerful gods in Smite Arena bar none is for the simple fact of ease of play, right? Again, the most newbie friendly god in Smite Arena in my opinion, but that world one is his bread and butter. That world one is just so devastating. That AoE is one of the top AoEs in the game for sure, right? I think that Kukan is probably one of the top 2 guys for AoE or area effect type damage. Having a Kukan on your team is always going to be awesome to have if you have a lot of Chains of Sea type gods for sure. But anyway, and that's why I think that Kukan is definitely one of the most powerful gods in Arena. Which brings me to our 5th most powerful god in Arena, and is another one of my mains, and that is Zeus. In my opinion, Zeus is by far the most powerful god, the most damaging god in Smite Arena. For the simple fact that his kit is nothing but damage. Unfortunately, Zeus does not have any escape. He is definitely the perfect definition of a glass cannon. Now, his passive allows him to put charges on enemy players, right? And the thing about these charges is that they last up to 5 seconds and allow his basic attacks to do up to 30% more damage. That's right, 30% more damage, right? Now, his lightning, right? His number 1. Now, his lightning attack, when you connect with that lightning, right, it actually arcs up to 4 arcs. So say you have 3 gods in an area, you hit one of them, the lightning will actually arc to the other ones, placing the orbs not just on the additional or initial god, but also doing damage and putting orbs on nearby gods, and also slowing them for 30% for 2 seconds. So you're getting AoE arc damage, you're getting charges put on these gods that you can later follow up with his number 3, and we'll talk about that here shortly. And additionally, you're slowing these gods, allowing your Zeus to do more damage or allowing your teammates to close in and clean up after you, right? And then his number 2, his shield, right? His shield is very unique. Not only does it do damage when you throw it in there and it lands, right? But it works as a damage type hub. So you throw your shield in it, and then you can shoot a lightning bolt, bounce it off your shield, and have it arc onto other players. Now, this is a very, very powerful attack for the simple fact it simplifies targeting. Sometimes it's very hard to land that lightning bolt, that number 1, right? Especially if you have a moving target. But the cool thing about this is it's almost like having automatic transmission on a car, man. You throw that shield in the area of other gods, and then you throw that lightning bolt on top of that shield, and the shield pretty much targets for you and starts shooting those arcs towards any god that's in the range of that attack. Additionally, the very first arc gets bonus damage or in the way of static from the shield, so you do increased damage. And then additionally, that's a good and easy way to put charges on any god in that area. But the cool thing about it is recently they added an even greater buff to this attack for the simple fact when your shield is deployed, you get an increase of up to 40% attack speed and 30% movement speed at max level with Zeus. Now, Zeus doesn't have an escape. I mean, that's what makes him pretty much a glass cannon, but having an increase of 30% movement speed definitely helps out a ton. For all you Zeus veterans, you remember back in the day when Zeus was just, it felt like no matter how much movement speed he had, he just moved so freaking slow. So having this new movement speed addition to his kit is definitely welcome in my opinion, right? But one of the most powerful attacks in his kit is his detonate, man, his number 3. This is one of those set it and forget it type attacks that you can do while running and having your back up to the enemy. And the range on this thing is ridiculous, man. So what ends up happening is all his lightning attacks that you do with Zeus, whether it be his basic attack or his arcs from his number 1, puts orbs on the enemy, right? And the more orbs you have, the higher the multiplier for damage. So at late game, at max level for his 3, he does 180 damage plus 25% of his magic power, right? But the thing about this is if you hit a god that has 3 orbs on them, that is multiplied by 2.4%. So almost 2.5% more damage by this detonate, which is just ridiculous. And this detonate is just not to one god. If you're coming off, say, a 2-1 combo where you actually arced a bunch of enemies and put orbs on them, or coming off a 2-1 combo that just in his ult, you know what I'm saying? You can very easily hit that detonate and get a pentakill instantly, depending on how many orbs you put on people and how low they were done. That detonate is just ridiculous damage, and the best part about it is you can do it while running for your life, right? If you're being chased down. And then we move on to his ult. Now, his ult is an AoE, a big AoE type, single area type effect. So what ends up happening is you drop this ult in a certain area and it just drops damage. It pulses damage. Now, the cool thing about this ult is the fact that it does pulse damage. So you're getting hit, you're getting tick damage. Additionally, it puts orbs on gods. Now, this storm lasts 5 seconds, so the longer a enemy stays in that storm, the more damage they're taking, right? And this can be very, very powerful late game, especially if you have a high attack power, high penetration type Zeus. But what makes this even more lethal is if you drop that AoE ult and then come in with your 2-1 combo, you're going to be able to not only put orbs on as many guys as possible in that area, but you're gonna slow them. Yeah, you'll be able to slow them with those lightning bolt effects, keeping them in your ult just that much longer, and then following up with that detonate it's just lethal, man. I think Zeus is probably the most damage I've ever done in arena. I think that my record with Zeus is over 100,000 player damage. Over 100,000 player damage by itself is my record with Zeus. He's just a very powerful god, the most powerful god in arena. But again, Zeus is not that easy to play. For one, you really have to nail down this 2-1 combo, and 2, you have to be able to anticipate the enemy and keep your head on a swivel. Zeus's Achilles heel is jumping gods for sure, or invis type gods. If you get a invis type god or a jumping god up on you, unless you're very advanced or a very experienced player to Zeus, you're probably going to end up dying, to tell you the truth. But the more you play him, the more you're going to feel his pros and cons, and the more strategic you're going to be, especially when you know you're going against these type gods, allowing you to anticipate their attacks, right? So again, Zeus, by far one of my most favorite gods in Smite Arena, and by far the most powerful gods. I don't care what anybody says. In my opinion, one of the most powerful gods in Smite Arena. So this concludes my list of the top 5 most powerful mages to play in Smite Arena. Now keep in mind, these are my personal most powerful mages to play in Smite Arena picks, right? Everybody has their own opinions, different types of kits and builds are like clothes. Everybody has their own taste. Everybody has their own styles. And I personally think that these are the most powerful mages to play in Smite Smite Arena. But if you think that we missed somebody, hey, put it down in the comments down below. Who do you think is the most powerful mage to play in Smite Arena? Again, I appreciate everyone's support, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. We're still trying to get to that 10,000 subscriber mark before the end of the year. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm Garza, your OG on the GC. See you next time.